Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic and that you're all having a great day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We seem to be having a lot of weird, like blast from the past kind of things you'll see as the video goes on. For some reason, larger portions of the news in the last couple of days have kind of like revolved around things that we've had before. It's not that people aren't talking about them now, but they're not as popular as they used to be. But here we are once again. So one of the original ideas for Bitcoin was basically being used as an open monetary system that anyone could do what they want at any given time. Eventually, we figured out, the public, that Bitcoin was only capable of 3 to 5 maximum transactions per second. I've seen the number 7 quoted sometimes as well, and it's like on average, it's between 3 to 5. And after that, people began to try to find solutions to actually make Bitcoin faster. One of the main things was that the number one coin did not want to change anything about the actual system itself. They said it's fine, let's build other layers around it and or side chains. And this is where we got the Lightning Network from. The idea of the Lightning Network was basically a way for people, or is a way for people, to lock up their Bitcoin, kind of stake their Bitcoin, if you will, into the Lightning Network system. And basically you create a road. Like imagine you paving a road and you allow people to drive on that road, the Bitcoin transactions. And every time that someone does drive on that road, you get a small fee for having created that road. That's kind of the idea of staking your Bitcoin in Lightning. And usually, it comes down to most, at least when I was paying attention to it more back in 2018, 2019, if you were using the Lightning Network, the fee for using it was not $4, was not $18 worth of Bitcoin. It was around like 1 or 2 Satoshis. The idea being, and this is the discussion for like the in the future dollar parity, Bitcoin, hyper Bitcoinization, all those kinds of things, is that in the future, if you are allowing people to use these lanes to do your transactions and you're making 1 to 2 Satoshis per transaction, well, if you have 30,000 people who are using it, because the Lightning Network, as far as I understand, does not expand forever. It's kind of like limited to a certain amount, but it can get to over 1 million transactions per second, but only so many lanes can be built. Kind of like our planet. You can only have so many highways. Think of it that way. That basically you'd be making around 100,000 per month in the future if you had a Lightning Network system that was open for people. Anyway, that's kind of the main idea, but we've seen a lot of, I don't want to use the term hiccups. I think it has worked fairly well. Part of the issues have been with companies who've been trying to get into the Bitcoin space, thought that there was like a gold mine to make from every single aspect of it, as opposed to just accumulating it. If you've ever seen a number of different websites, even on Coinbase and other places, they'll ask you, sometimes you can like lend out your Bitcoin. They have other areas where they say you can like stake your Bitcoin, but they give you like a 0.5% or a 1% return. The idea is like, what else can Bitcoin do? Kind of thing. So a lot of companies got into the space and they assumed that we were just very willing to use our crypto, to spend our crypto, to buy some socks and to buy some shoes and to buy hats and to buy plane tickets and all these other things. And I told you all before, there are people who do use their Bitcoin, but they're a very tiny fragment of the Bitcoin space who choose to live their lives exclusively using Bitcoin. Everyone else is buying and holding with the expectation of a couple of things. Either the price is going to rise and then they can buy a house or whatever they plan on using their Bitcoin for. The other majority are holding on their Bitcoin because as we see that we can buy more things with Bitcoin, then therefore in the future everything will be payable with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price goes up high enough that you don't have to sell an entire Bitcoin. You can sell fragments of fragments of fragments of fragments. We had a couple of companies in 2019. One of them was Backed, BAKKT, and Spedden, SPEDN. I think that was made by the Winklevoss twins. to try and literally encourage people to like sell their Bitcoin to them. It sounds nefarious because it kind of is. The idea was that the public was just, hankering to sell their Bitcoin to buy some stuff. So they partnered with Nordstrom, they partnered with Starbucks, and a multitude of other companies. If you were here before, you remember it. If you don't, you can find the video if it pleases you. Otherwise, you can simply Google it. Where we heard, I think like 30 different companies were going to start offering Bitcoin as a payment option. The thing that they were going to use was the Lightning Network. As simply, if you've ever sent a normal Bitcoin payment before, I've seen friends do it. I've seen documentaries about it. It takes you stand there for about a minute and some change while everything is going on, and it's not as quick as our current payment systems. So therefore, they were going to be using the Lightning Network to have instantaneous transactions, have almost no fee for it, and therefore people could spend their crypto. The issue, of course, being nobody wants to spend their crypto. Let's be completely honest, over and over and over again, that these companies got into the space, and then we found out that the way that it would work was, let's say you go into a Starbucks and you buy a Frappa Mochaccino Latte Cappuccino, and you tap your card and you pay in Bitcoin. You would assume that Starbucks is getting the Bitcoin directly. No. It was actually, it would go to the New York Stock Exchange. It would go to Bakkt, the company, backed by ICE, the New York Stock Exchange. They would receive the Bitcoin, and they would send the equivalent amount in US dollars to Starbucks. And it was literally just a way, same exact thing with all the other apps, for the main company who's looking to acquire more Bitcoin. They receive your Bitcoin, and they spit out US dollars to the other company. Therefore, assuming that they know that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up higher. So in essence, in the future, you look back and you spend, $780 on that mochaccino frappa latte thing, and then the company has received it while Starbucks has also only received US dollars, and you've lost out on the Bitcoin that you had. You see, like it all has a very weird tone to it. So this transformed into crypto exchanges. Trying to adopt the Lightning Network, and this is what seems to be the most logical, at least at the moment. I think realistically, as Lightning has continuously worked, the adoption levels are still quite low comparatively, but that's because I believe that the infrastructure has been built up in the background by these companies to make sure before they announce something that is really working very well, before they onboard a bunch of other people into the actual system. I forgot which other crypto exchange is also using. I want to say Kraken. I don't know why it pops into my head. I don't think it's Binance. Anyway, the point is this leads us into this actual news and why it's so significant. Light Spark, like a light and then a spark, led by CEO David Marcus, who's the former president of PayPal, has been selected by Coinbase, the largest U.S. exchange, to integrate the Bitcoin Lightning Network onto their platform. This integration is set to enable Coinbase customers to conduct instant and cost-effective Bitcoin transactions. So now Coinbase has come out announcing that they're also going to start using the Lightning Network as well, which should then give us a push that other crypto exchanges will do the exact same thing. It should be free or nearly instantaneous to have any type of movement with Bitcoin at this point, especially in the year 2024. But everyone's been quite slow when it comes to adopting it. There should be no question anymore about instantaneous Litecoin. I was looking at Lightspark, at Bitcoin payments and what they can actually do. They said, and I quote, "Coinbase is committed to making the global financial system faster and more efficient." This was said by the Vice President of Corporate and Business Development. "We're excited to partner with Lightspark to eliminate payment barriers and enable faster and cheaper Bitcoin transactions through support for the Bitcoin Lightning Network," end quote. This should, or this would, in essence, so I'm going to try and say it as simply as possible. One of the main hindrances for Bitcoin not being bigger than it could be is the actual ease of use and the actual speed. We cannot live in a world where we now have nearly instantaneous payments when you tap or swipe your card, or you can pay with things with your phone and it takes half a second. You can't try and enter a train station or buy a bagel and it takes 2.5 minutes as you stand there. If the entire world found out a way, I mean, realistically, I mean, we're on our way to actually use the Lightning Network, Bitcoin, like there's nothing that could actually stop it at that point, especially with instantaneous transactions. The number that we're always aiming for, which no one says out loud anymore, and I find it kind of weird, the number to beat is between 50 to 60,000 transactions per second. Those are the current numbers by Visa and MasterCard. This was more of a discussion in 2017, 2018. The idea being 3 to 5 transactions per second is not 50 to 60,000 transactions. I don't know if you heard the difference in those numbers. They're not the same. One is extremely fast. With the Lightning Network and having enough roads, essentially, having people lock their Bitcoin inside of it. And it's something as simple as locking a 0.01 Bitcoin into the network. And basically all transactions that would happen under 0.01 Bitcoin would be able to use your lane on that highway. The idea, of course, also being if we have a $100,000 Bitcoin and you lock a 0.01 into it, any transaction under $1,000 would be able to go through your lane. Bitcoin hits $1 million, it's any transaction under $10,000. And the idea for the Lightning Network is, this is when you'd be able, I mean, once again, 2008 talk, you'd be able to buy your cup of coffee or your stick of gum. I don't know how people got to stick of gum back then, but like it's really like, the least expensive things you'd be able to use with the Lightning Network without having any actual issues. It says Lightspark has dedicated nearly 2 years to developing its platform as a premier entry point to the Lightning Network, catering to the needs of institutional clients seeking reliable and efficient solutions for Bitcoin transactions. There's no date as to when this is going to happen. I give it a couple of months. I don't know. Very, very, very popular news. This was all over the place. I give it a couple of months. We will probably, more than likely, be hearing about this sometime over the course of the next couple of months. This is just how things tend to work out within this space. So cool. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Bitcoin to stop being extremely slow and people having like problems sending transactions. And I mean, also, if Bitcoin is going to make it, we cannot have, during high intensity usage of the network, have $28 transaction fees. Like it just literally it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, Coinbase is apparently going to be integrating the Lightning Network. We'll see exactly when it happens, how it happens. They're Coinbase. They are going to announce this as the greatest thing in the entire world when it actually does end up happening. So cool. That's the Lightning Network news. And yeah, let's move on. Also, things are getting a little bit weird at this point, and I kind of think I know what's going on. There's been an enormous amount of Litecoin news. Bitcoin Cash has been in the news because of their halving, which no one really paid attention to. But I think crypto exchanges have a lot of Bitcoin Cash, and they've been trying to get people to really pay attention to it, but it's not working as well. So for those of you not looking at the screen, it says Binance has unveiled plans to introduce new spot trading pairs for bcash and for Litecoin. It says and others, and every single article also said others as well. No one was really talking about anything else other than Litecoin. The last 2 weeks, I don't know what's been going on, but there's been a significant push in Litecoin's direction. We got news that I think Coinbase was adding, I think it was Litecoin and Dogecoin futures to their platform. I believe once again, I don't know why Kraken keeps popping in my head. We had some kind of like Kraken Litecoin news as well. There was the other, there was a payment processor. I think it was BitPay. I want to say BitPay. I don't know. Who announced their statistics for their platform. And they said that Litecoin was their like most used coin. They said people prefer to actually use Litecoin as opposed to Bitcoin or even Ethereum, and then all the other coins trickle down lower. And then we had news. Oh gosh, there was another platform who was also adding Litecoin futures. And then we got news about 5 or 6 days ago that allegedly, this is, I mean, not even grain of salt, grain of air, if you will, that people heard through the grapevine that because of the classification of Litecoin as a potential commodity similar to Bitcoin, as there is no, if you will, there's no head of the dragon. We know that the creator of Litecoin stepped away from the project back in 2017, 2018 to not influence the price, and Litecoin kind of exists on its own, if you will. That there were rumors, grain of air, rumors of a Litecoin ETF. And I think that also started things in this certain momentum. And this is why we're seeing Binance now listing more trading pairs against Litecoin as well. Something weird is happening with it. I mentioned that before. It was like 2 weeks ago I told you. We haven't or hadn't heard about Litecoin in years. The last significant thing that we heard from Litecoin was the introduction of Mimblewimble, the private transactions on top of the Litecoin network. And since then, nothing. And I mean nothing. Not one article, nothing negative, nothing positive, nothing about the price, nothing about updates or upgrades or someone talking about it, nothing. And then randomly in the last 14, 15, 16 days, it's in the news every day and or every other day now. So something is definitely taking place. I think a Litecoin ETF would set the market ablaze because I think it would completely come out of left field, right field, north field, like no one would really be expecting it. I mentioned before, I'm starting to, personally, this is me, this is not financial advice. Do not do this. Don't follow my footsteps because I'm probably going to be wrong. Starting to acquire Litecoin. It's something about it. I don't know if it has to do with nostalgia. I remember when it was just like, 15, 16 coins in this market before everyone completely lost their minds in 2017, 2018. But it's something about it. Every time I look at it, it has this like nostalgia kind of feeling for me as far as like one of the actual legacy coins. Anyway, Binance is going to be listing Litecoin, bcash, and other trading pairs to these coins to give them extra liquidity, which will only help them in the future as well. Yeah, that's the, I guess, Litecoin news. Yeah. Let's move on. I told you there was like a lot of like blasts from the past kind of news. We hadn't heard about the Lightning Network, and I mean, it's been a very long time. And to hear that Coinbase is integrating it, that's a bit insane. Binance listing new Litecoin stuff, blast from the past. That's completely insane. Also, in it's been about a year and a half news. The Shiba Inu community and the developing team are trying to burn as many Shiba Inu as possible. For those of you who were not here a couple of years ago, Shiba Inu was like, I mean, I don't understand where its popularity came from, but people love this coin still to this day. So now they're back in the news. They were in the news daily, not weekly, daily. Years ago, I would comb through the news, see what's going on, what's happening in the crypto space, and it'd be like 15 articles every single day about Shiba Inu, about their metaverse, about their upgrades, about their coin burn, about their layer 2 solution, Shibarium, I don't know, about their other coins called Bone and one called, was it Dig? There was also a coin called Fetch. They had other layer 2 solutions. They had decentralized exchanges. I mean, it was constant. They were always in the news, the most popular being the news about the actual coin burn. So the community and the development team are trying to make Shiba Inu, the meme coin, do not forget that this is a meme, it is a joke, into a scarce asset. Data shared by the Shiba Burn cryptocurrency tracker shows that more than 10 billion Shiba Inu coins were sent. It says a virtual furnace. That's a bit intense. In the month of March. The aforementioned data source has revealed that in March, the Shiba Inu supply took an impressive dent. Apparently, it went up. The burn rate went up by 2,230% with billions of coins destroyed. The problem with Shiba Inu is that, like many other meme coins, it started out as a meme, and they created a gigantic amount of coins for the lulz, for a joke, ha 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 ha. The problem is that people began to take this coin seriously. I don't literally exactly know why. Maybe, I mean, their development team, I think weeks or months after it was created, hit the market. Tons of people were making money from this coin. It was like, a meme coin that got onto the scene. People made money from it. But then the development team announced that they were actually going to develop on it. They wanted to make it something more than a meme. Part of the issue is that when the coin was created, they had such an astronomical amount of coins that people were like, we're never going to hit 1 cent. So to mitigate this, or to fix it, they began to announce that they would have coin burns on the actual platform. So on the actual chain itself, I believe every transaction results in coin burns. And then this is when, I mean, you want to talk about popular. This is when Binance announced that they would also be joining in the coin burn as well. And I think for every transaction also happening on Binance, there's also Shiba Inu that's actually burned as well. I assume the burn rate has risen by 2,230% because the market is moving a lot. There's a lot of volatility, things that people are jumping back into the market. And I assume a lot of people have relearned that they had SHIB, So basically, it's network movement and activity that are causing a huge amount of this burn. There's also like a record label who's also burning Shiba Inu. We're in a very, very weird market. So yeah, that's the Shiba Inu. Burn rate has risen. One of the main goals for those of you who don't know, and I mean you should all know at this point, is for Shiba Inu to hit 1 cent. That's because there are so many coins, and the goal for them, similar to Dogecoin, all those years ago, was to hit at least 1 penny. And the idea is that if they can burn enough of these coins, that they can get to 1 cent per Shiba Inu sometime over the course of this bull run. I think they can do it. It's not really out of the realm of possibility with all the burns that have been going on, and the burns we're probably going to be seeing over the next year and some change. So yeah, that's the Shiba Inu news. Also, in Blast from the Past news, Terra Luna Classic is also back in the news. I'll explain that in 1 second. Binance has burned 4.17 billion Terra Luna Classic tokens in its 20th batch of the Luna Classic burn mechanism. Following the latest burn by Binance, the Luna Classic burned by the crypto exchange has now surpassed over 56 billion coins. Moreover, the total tokens burned by the Terra Luna Classic community has reached nearly 110 billion coins. Yes. Also, in used to be daily news, there is a project called Terra Luna that allegedly had a large amount of mismanagement from what we heard. This is like 2 years ago now at this point. I remember I was traveling as it happened. I was sitting down for brunch, and my friend took out his phone and like shoved it in my face, and I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, it's collapsing. This was one of the most popular coins. Terra Luna was, kind of. Terra Luna was the Solana of like a couple of years ago. It was this coin that popped up. Everyone believed in it. I think it got to $100 per coin. I think that's what it was. Correct me if I'm incorrect, but I think it got to $100. And the idea was that this coin was going to go to $500, going to go to $1,000, going to go to $2,000. And everyone and their mother loved Terra Luna except for me. You might remember I was also like, no, I don't know. I have none of that. And then one day it collapsed, like overnight. The coins, I think it was over $100, went from $100 to I think 25 cents in like a 9-hour period. I don't remember the exact specifics for it anymore. I think it had something to do with a stable coin that they had that depegged, and the price completely collapsed, and all these other things went on. And then like about a week later, maybe even less, they announced that they were going to be creating Terra Luna Classic, or Terra Luna Classic was a fork of Terra Luna. I don't know. It's been so long. And basically, they created this brand new coin that people loved. It was meant to be an immediate revival of this coin, and people jumped on it very, very fast. And then similar to Shiba Inu, they announced that there were too many coins. I don't know how people keep doing this. I don't really understand. If you're going to create a coin, especially a meme coin, I understand that not everyone wants to just have 21 million coins. Fantastic. A billion is an okay number for a coin. A billion coins is fine. 100 billion, cool. We can accept it if there's a coin burn. But some of these coins go into the trillions, and I don't understand why that number. But very similar to Shiba Inu, there's a burn on the actual thing that also happens behind the scenes. There's transactions are taking place and all these other yada, yada, yadas. Every day, Terra Luna Classic and Shiba Inu were in the news about their coin burns and how they're going to... and if I remember correctly, I think Shiba Inu's the only one that actually kind of like continued with development, because we heard that apparently Terra Luna Classic was going to be revived by this whole team. I think that never happened. Same exact thing with EOS. Don't think I forgot that one. Remember, like about a year or so ago, we heard from what's this guy's name? Oh gosh, the guy who created EOS said that he was going to revive the project and he was going to rebrand it and redo this and blah, 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 blah. Nope, those people left with that money. It's a real shame. Anyway, I think the same thing was supposed to happen with Terra Luna Classic. Yeah, they've been popping back up in the news. Terra Luna Classic and Shiba Inu. Very weird blast from the past. I assume maybe we'll probably be hearing about them a lot more simply because they're very popular coins, very popular projects. Let's see if they can actually outpace a number of the other meme coins that are currently becoming popular out there. I will repeat once again. Understand that crypto is already extremely volatile, already extremely risky. There's a huge difference between you throwing your money into Bitcoin or Ethereum and throwing it into Shiba Inu and Terra Luna Classic. And then even more, hear me out here, there's even more of a wobbly edge from you a more wobbly edge. You throwing your money into Shiba Inu and Terra Luna Classic to the meme coins that are being created on Solana. So there's different tiers of intensity within this market. So always make sure to not put any money into this market that you cannot afford to lose. After you have paid all of your bills and your rent and you have food in the fridge and in the freezer and you are good, that extra money that you would use for other nonsensical things, I personally buy comic books and sometimes Pokemon cards because, why not nowadays? That money, that is what you should then be maybe using to throw into the cryptocurrency market. Just understand this is a very risky space. It's not even that I have to say it, like I need people to really remember it, especially as we get closer and after the halving, because people begin to lose their minds, and I am not in the mood to hear from anyone who has watched this channel that there's a new YouTube video of them sitting in their car crying because they lost all their money in dog with cat with bone hat coin. You think I'm joking? I don't want no one watching these videos. You should all know better at this point. Yeah, that's a dad talk. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope you've all enjoyed. Yeah, we have a really weird news space that we're currently in. Because what I personally think it is that we're so close to the halving now that everyone's you ever see a video game loading, or you see something loading on your computer screen and you'll turn away trying to pretend that you're not looking at it so that it can load faster. I don't know why we all do that. We all do that. Humans are very weird. And this is kind of what it feels like with the halving. I feel like everyone's paying attention but have lightly turned their back, just kind of waiting for it to take place so it kind of comes quicker, because it's like the moment that we've all been waiting, literally, a moment we've been waiting for a number of years now. So I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.